We are going to talk a little bit about the idea of tracking your net worth. How
Oh, yeah.
often should you track it? What does it look like? And all those pieces. And I was recently listening to a podcast with Kevin O'Leary.
Okay.
And Kevin O'Leary, every single morning, he wakes up at 4. At 4:05, he checks his portfolio, and he gets flags based off of sectors that he's in, whether they're up or down 3%. He doesn't care if it's up or down. He just wants to know, hey, what's up 3%, what's down 3%, and why. And so I'm curious what your thoughts on this, Mark, on how often you check it, and then how often you recommend other people looking at it and kind of evaluating where they're at, and if they should do anything because of that.
All right, so let's jump in. So first off, I am nowhere near as wealthy as Mr. Wonderful.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. And although I think I've done some amazing things in my life, arguably I would say he's done more in terms of it appears. Don't know that personally, don't know him, but it appears. He's a big watch collector, and I am a watch guy, so I love that about him.
He wears one on each wrist.
He does.
That?
That's really odd.
That's not
he wears two. I will not do that. That's just a little weird.
He said it's because of coastal. So, like, if he's doing something in Dubai that day, he's got, like, both times.
Right.
And I'm like,
but there are
that's
watches
crazy.
that'll show you that as well.
That's true.
So, reverso, that watch does it. You could literally push a little button, and it just reverses to the other screen.
It's good.
To the other watch on the other side, and then you have a different time zone. But what do I know? So, but here's the deal. I will tell you that is a horrible, terrible habit, what he's currently doing.
Sure.
And he needs to replace it. And you're saying, Mark, I'm telling Kevin, if you're watching, I think he does subscribe. I mean, he very likely should. Change your habit. I'm accomplishing late in life what I'm accomplishing by changing, not doing it the same way I've always done it. These things are some of the most powerful devices known to man.
Sure.
There's more power in this unbelievable folding phone that I have, Samsung Galaxy 7, cheap plug. I love this phone. There's more power in this right here, than the computers that put a man on the moon, Apollo 13 and all the other stuff. More power right there.
Yep.
However, I dare say, and I don't like to quote numbers I don't know, but a high 90% of the population that has a phone. Everybody doesn't have them.
Sure.
People that do wake up 4 o'clock. That's my get up time, 4:35, whatever. And within the first 5 minutes, if they're my age, they've gone to the restroom. Or maybe before the restroom, guess what they've done?
Check their net worth.
No, not even check their net worth always.
Well.
But they've picked up their phone.
Oh, sure.
And started.
Yeah.
For Kevin, it's checking his net worth. But somewhere in there, he's checking messages that came in. He's looking at Snappergram, Titter Track, whatever they call them this week, TikTok, whatever it is, Ticker Talk. Yep. I love changing the names of all this stuff.
You do.
I have fun with it. But he's doing all that. And he confirmed it in that video you watched.
Yeah, sure.
I did that for years. It is absolutely wrong. Check your bank accounts, add up your net worth, see what needs to happen, make money moves. Forget all that. You get out of bed, go to the restroom, and then find a quiet place in your house. Mine's my closet. It's my own closet, not Terry's.
I just thought Harry Potter when you said closet, and I was like, different closet.
Different closet. Nope. I have a chair in it along with a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
I go in there and I sit in a very dim light and I meditate and I give thanks that I was able to wake up today. And I clear my head and I spend at least 15 minutes in there before I even begin to start the day. And then once I've just had no thoughts, raise my vibrational frequency, which is what I'm attempting to do. That's the whole goal of being in there. We operate on a vibrational frequency, and I go in there and do that for at least 10 to 15 minutes, and I started at like 1 minute. It was hard to even sit in silence for a minute when I started years ago. But I do 15 minutes of that. Then I get up, and I start my day by reading and doing some other things that are personal to me. Then it's time to get the dogs up. Then it's time to make the food and do all this other stuff. Then there is a point in time where I'm going to now get my device and start looking at it. And I do look at business accounts to see what was paid, what wasn't.
Sure.
Cash flow. I do look at my personal accounts. I do not look at my overall wealth. Now,
Okay.
let me tell you why. Because I use the same money managers that my clients use. I have my own portfolio. I look at it. When I say my own portfolio, it's not large, not that large at all, but that's one that I'm managing. I like to see what it's doing.
Sure.
The ones that I'm paying to be managed, and you say you're a wealth manager, you're paying. Yeah, I am. I'm using the same portfolio as my clients use.
Yep.
I don't look at it because guess what? I am spending my own hard-earned money to have somebody else look at it. I expect them to do their damn job.
Sure.
Why do I need to look at it?
Yeah.
Do I want to add it up occasionally? Yeah, I'll look at it once a month, once every 2 months or something. If markets are bad, I don't even look at it much at all because I don't want to see.
Sure.
I know it's being done correctly. I know they're doing a good job. I leave it alone. I do look at my personal money. What's my savings account? What's my, checking account? Things like that, obviously. But I'm not. And you say, well, how can you? Because if I'm not trading it personally, why do I need to look at it?
Yeah. Especially because, like, if you saw it really far up or really far down, would you do anything about it today? And I think that's.
I think again, the way you become wealthy in America is timing the market, timing it, being able to know when to buy and when to sell.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, timing it. Yeah, that's how you become wealthy.
Time in the market.
Thank you. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So why would if I'm way up, I'm happy.
Sure.
So I'll get that. Oh, if I hear like the news hit a new high and I'm like, I wonder what mine did. I'll go take a glance.
Sure.
But I'm not overly concerned because I trust the people that are doing the job I've paying them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying, Mark, you're a wealth management firm. Yeah, but this idea that I'm sitting behind the computer or some nerd in my office sitting behind the computer, buying and selling and knowing exactly, I'm using the $1 trillion, the biggest companies on Wall Street to do that.
Yeah.
So I let them do their job.
Yep.
Now I still like to, because I'm a nerd, I still like to have my own money. And so I have a small account that I play with, and put money in and stuff and trade and stuff. And so I do a little of that, but not that much. Because again, the answer is what? Time
in the market.
In the market. I buy really good stuff.
Yep.
Or what I believe to be good stuff. Sometimes I make a mistake in my own account. And then I just hold it.
So was there a moment that happened where you decided, hey, I'm not going to look at this as much as I currently am?
Yeah, it's when I chose to take control over my life and not let life control me. When I chose to become proactive in my life to do what I choose to do and not reactive to this leash around my neck.
And the reason I ask that question is because I think a lot of people will find their identity in that net worth number. And I think
It's not about a number.
And that's the dangerous part of it.
It's not about a number. I don't care how much it is. The Bible's very clear. You can't build your walls high enough to protect you from everything. People tried to store grain in silos so great that they felt they'd be protected forever. They weren't. It's very clear. So I want to be a good steward of my own money. I want to help others be good stewards of their money. But after you've done that, don't be a slave to your dollars. Don't. I control my money. I'm a good steward of it. But I want to enjoy life. Looking at the markets 24/7, 365, even as an analyst, and that's what I am, that's not going to be fun for me. That's why I pay others to do it.
Sure.
And I get to do what I like. I'm on the help desk today. I like this. This is fun.
Sure.
I get to meet people. I get to do television appearances. I'm going to speaking engagement tonight. That's what I like in helping to empower people to take control of their financial futures. Well, I can't do that job and be watching Tokyo and Nikko markets and this and that and what Russia just did and China sneezed and that happened and this. Somebody else needs to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially in the way that information flows today, it's so fast.
It's a fire hydrant.
And I think
it's not a garden hose.
Well, and when we look at as many portfolios as we do in the day from clients and whatever, I think that's interesting because I start to see, hey, everything that's going on in Iran impacts all these different pieces. And then you get people asking you the question of like, hey, what should I do about this thing?
Right.
And I think what you're saying is nothing. Wait.
Well, or no, I'm not, because waiting could be the worst thing you could do.
Sure. Okay.
The idea is you get in good, you manage your money Have someone help you with it unless you're going to be a do-it-yourselfer. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're going to have to do it, in my opinion, the way I do it, which is buy good quality items and just leave them alone.
Yeah, sure. Then passive investing.
Just be alone.
Right?
You're going to have to.
Yep. Sure.
Because if you think you're going to become a day trader, newsflash, most all of them don't make any money. They're all gamblers. You're a gambler. You know that. And they want to go to Vegas and tell you all the money they made. Vegas was not built on winners.
It was built on losers. That's right.
Evidently, there's a lot more of them than there is winners. I'm just guessing here.
Sure.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but all these people that are going to sell you the course to become a day trader and all, why do they need to sell you the course if they really know how to be the best day trader on the planet? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What that tells me is there's more money in selling you a course than there is day trading.
Yep. Agreed.
They just want to do it because they want to show you how.
Yep. And
because they're just so good. I'm not saying education's bad.
Sure.
Education is valuable. Think of all the courses that exist on how to flip houses, how to buy real estate with somebody else's money. I can give you all of them. They're all designed to do one thing: separate you from your money. Can you get knowledge out of them? Yeah, there's some better than others. I'm certain of it. But remember what the end goal is. If the course was really that good, they do not have time to teach it.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're the Wealth Help Desk. So Mark, well, you're on the help desk. It's free. Obviously, I'm not making much off this right now. Let's go with that, right? Totally different than someone selling you a course. We don't have a bill coming your way. We're not going to tell you, hey, and next week you could subscribe to well, now subscribe. Yeah, you got to do that. That's important. We got to grow the channel to get this information to more people. That's how the algorithm works. But there's not a course coming. We're going to say, hey, for $29.95, we'll give you private instruction. Yeah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah. I mean, HGTV is a media business. It's not
That's all it is.
And you get to see them buy and sell a lot of houses, but that's not where they make their money. It's you watching.
That's correct. It's you watching.